wrapped in hoar frost, the shapes of summer leaves imaged by winter's frozen hand on the hard ground, the dusky sky, drear, cold, and unbroken silence, while close in my bosom my feathered nursling lay warm and safe, speaking its content with a light chirp. Painful recollections thronged, stirring my brain with wild commotion. Cold and death-like as the snowy fields was all earth, misery-stricken the life-tide of the inhabitants. Why should I oppose the cataract of destruction that swept us away? Why string my nerves or renew my wearied efforts? Ah, why? But that firm courage and cheerful exertions might shelter the dear mate, whom I chose in the spring of my life. Though the throbbings of my heart be replete with pain, though my hopes for the future are chill, still, while your dear hand, my gentlest love, can repose in peace on that heart, and while you derive from its fostering care comfort and hope, my struggles shall not cease. I will not call myself altogether vanquished. One fine February day, when the sun had reassumed some of its genial power, I walked in the forest with my family. It was one of those lovely winter days which assert the capacity of nature to bestow beauty on barrenness. The leafless trees spread their fibrous branches against the pure sky. Their intricate, impervious tracery resembled delicate seaweed. The deer were turning up the snow in search of the hidden grass. The white was made intensely dazzling by the sun, and trunks of trees, rendered more conspicuous by the loss of prepondering foliage, gathered around like the labyrinthine columns of a vast temple. It was impossible not to receive pleasure from the sight of these things. Our children, freed from the bondage of winter, bounded before us, pursuing the deer or rousing the pheasants and partridges from their coverts. Idris lent my arm. Her sadness yielded to the present sense of pleasure. We met other families on the long walk, enjoying like ourselves the return of the genial season. At once I seemed to awake. I cast off the clinging sloth of the past months. Earth assumed a new appearance, and my view of the future was suddenly made clear. I exclaimed, "I've now found out the secret!" "What secret?" In answer to this question I described our gloomy winter life, our sordid cares, our menial labours. "This northern country," I said, "is no place for our diminished race. When mankind were few, it was not here that they battled with the powerful agents of nature, and were enabled to cover the globe with offspring. We must seek some natural paradise, some garden of the earth, where our simple wants may be easily supplied, and the enjoyment of a delicious climate compensate for the social pleasures we have lost. If we survive this coming summer, I will not spend the ensuing winter in England, neither I nor any of us." I spoke without much heed, and the very conclusion of what I said brought with it other thoughts. Should we, any of us, survive the coming summer? I saw the brow of Idris clouded. I again felt that we were enchained to the car of fate, over whose courses we had no control. We could no longer say, "This we will do, and this we will leave undone." A mightier power than the human was at hand to destroy our plans or to achieve the work we avoided. It were madness to calculate upon another winter. This was our last. The coming summer was the extreme end of our vista, and when we arrived there, instead of a continuation of the long road, a gulf yawned, into which we must of force be precipitated. The last blessing of humanity was wrested from us. We might no longer hope. Can the madman, as he clanks his chains, hope? Can the wretch, led to the scaffold, who when he lays his head on the block marks the double shadow of himself and the executioner, whose uplifted arm bears the axe, hope? Can the shipwrecked mariner, who spent with swimming, hears close behind the splashing waters divided by a shark which pursues him through the Atlantic, hope? Such hope as theirs we also may entertain. Old fable tells us that this gentle spirit sprung from the box of Pandora, else crammed with evils. But these were unseen and null, while all admired the inspiriting loveliness of young hope. Each man's heart became her home. She was enthroned sovereign of our lives. Here and hereafter she was deified and worshipped, declared incorruptible and everlasting. But like all other gifts of the Creator to man, she is mortal. Her life has attained its last hour. We have watched over her, nursed her flickering existence. Now she has fallen at once from youth to decrepitude, from health to immedicinable disease. Even as we spend ourselves in struggles for her recovery, she dies. To all the nations the voice goes forth, Hope is dead. We are but mourners in the funeral train, and what immortal essence of perishable creation will refuse to make one in the sad procession that attends to its grave the dead comforter of humanity? Does not the sun call in his light, and day like a thin exhalation melt away, both wrapping up their beams in clouds to be themselves close mourners at this obsequy? End of Chapter 9.